welcome to Pack Homer Pod, Season 3, Episode 12. The Pack is firmly on the bubble. They're about as bubble as you can get after we skipped last week's recording, not because we were going to quit. Someone asked me that. They thought we really quit after we lost the Stanford series, but Adam, I thought he was on the verge of death, but he's back with us.
And just for the record, I was quitting. I thought we had already quit.
Well, we pulled him back out of retirement. Been a rough 2 weeks after the Miami series.
I was just thinking, I got enough frustration in my life. Not frustration, but just stress. I got enough stressors in my life to not have to worry about talking about something I don't want to talk about.
Been kind of hard, hasn't it?
Yeah, I know. God, if we'd have lost that game last night, man, it'd have been kind of hard to pull it together for tonight. I can tell you. Yeah, we might have really dropped it till next year.
We've been checked out for season 4. So the Pack, after kind of felt like we had game 1 in hand at Stanford, gave it away, lost 6-5, then won game 2, 12-7, and Stanford kind of poured it on us late in game 3. Probably if we win that series, we're not on the bubble right now, but we didn't. Then we come to Raleigh this weekend. UNC beats us 9-4 game 1, 17-7 game 2. And then game 3 kind of got one of the things we've been talking about for forever, or, whether or not we should do it. I think we were kind of dealt that hand where we had no option but to start the best pitcher we had available. And it was Anderson Nance. So Nance starts game 3 of the UNC series, goes 6 innings, gives up 3 hits. I don't even think it was like vintage Nance. He walked 5 guys, only struck out 4, but got a job done. Hemrick came in relief, and Garino came in and threw 2/3 of an inning to finish it. And the Pack won 7-2. Finally hit the ball a little bit too. I mean, maybe Chris McHugh is back. 4 for 5. Hit a 417-foot home run, I think it was. Sherman hit another home run. Anyway, not a whole lot good to talk about the last 2 weeks other than yesterday's performance. So we can talk about it a little bit since it's fresh on our mind. What do you guys think about Nance as a starter if we are in a regional or in the ACC tournament? I think obviously he won't go Tuesday after throwing 93 pitches yesterday. We have Duke in the first round. We can talk about them in a little bit, but what did you think about Nance, the starter, Adam?
I mean, I think he's sitting here on the end of May. He's the best pitcher on the team. He's the arm that I trust the most right now. Obviously, like Coop too, but Big A has been pretty clutch in a few situations. And I mean, what was it? Was he 98 yesterday?
98. I think he was 98 on pitch 88.
I just think he's our best arm. Probably, when could we get him again? We could get him again maybe Thursday.
I would think Thursday might be the first time.
Yeah.
The earliest we might pull him out.
Against Georgia Tech. We would play Georgia Tech on Thursday, right?
Yeah, we'd have to beat Duke and Virginia to get there. So we already know what our first 2 games would be. As we ended up with the 9 seed, didn't get the first round bye. I don't know how the tiebreakers work, not going through all that. But anyway, we got Duke. Duke's RPI 84.
Very complicated.
Very complicated. Duke's RPI 84. We get them neutral. So it'll be a quad 2 game. If you lose that game, it's over, right, Wes? Or do you think?
Yes,
A-Vet thinks we're already in. Do you guys think there's any world we're in if we don't win on Tuesday?
Just go ahead and go to the Cape Cod League or whatever it is.
Yeah, I think.
I mean, if Nance is your best pitcher, why is he pitching after you already lost the series? Why are we sitting here and talk about Nance is the best pitcher and he didn't pitch until you'd already lost the series? I didn't even watch the game. I didn't even care. And then that's when he pitched. I mean, it is what it is.
Yeah, I definitely didn't like the strategy. I mean, I felt like, honestly, it didn't seem like Carolina had much of anything to play for. I mean, they were already locked in as the 2, right? I mean, there was no path for them for the 1.
especially after Georgia Tech just went and annihilated Boston College.
Yeah.
It kind of shut the door
So
on them. I
it,
guess they had
but
an
it, but
outside
it,
shot.
it did just seem like they wanted it more. I mean, I don't know.
So, like, if you would want to explain the strategy, this is what I think we did. I think we threw Nance 110 plus pitches against Miami on Sunday. So then, like, the question was, why don't we throw Nance to finish game one of that Stanford series? We went to Garino when we had a lead. Cooper Consiglio threw the ball really well. We go to Garino. He calls the lead up. So then at that point, we don't throw Nance again until Sunday. And then we have to turn around and play again on Thursday. I think maybe we didn't go to Nance game one of Stanford because he threw so many pitches on Sunday. And then you turn back around in the Carolina series. And I don't know. I think part of the strategy was we cannot get swept. We got to win one of these games. So do we want to match Anderson Nance up against their number one, DeCaro, who hadn't lost? He hadn't even given up a run in a month until we got him for two the other night. I kind of think maybe that played into it instead of putting him up against DeCaro or Lynch. Thought it had a better chance against Boaz.
I agree with that about DeCaro. I mean, I feel like we ran Andrews out there to kind of be the sacrificial lamb almost, you know? I mean,
and he pitched well. He pitched well. He struck
did.
out 10.
Yeah.
He threw a good game.
Yeah, I thought
it's just a huge ask.
Yeah. And I think we were credited with 2 errors in the game and probably some more that maybe because you can't like assume the force or you can't do this or that. We did not play a very clean defensive game and we lose the game 9-4. We actually cut it to 6-4 in the sixth, but we got to Caden Glauber, who's been their guy, him and McDuffie out of the pen. How Carolina operates their bullpen? Those jokers, Glauber and McDuffie are going to throw like 90 pitches a weekend in relief. It's crazy. I think Glauber threw 96 pitches this weekend, and McDuffie threw like 90 or 95, like something crazy.
What do you think about that though? About in game two when we did cut it to 6-4.
Game one. Game two, we cut to 10-7.
Yeah, sorry, game one. Game one. When we did cut it to 6-4 there, what was that? That was in the sixth, bottom of the sixth.
Yep.
And then we went from Andrews to Goose.
And Goose threw a scoreless, and then we went to Harris. And Harris was great at Stanford. I mean, he was kind of the story of that series, how good he threw in relief in game two. I think he went 6 2/3. But I don't really know why after 13 pitches we went to Harris, especially after Goose he threw a clean in. I mean, he walked the guy, but other than that, it was a clean in, no hits, no runs. Yeah, I thought that was kind of a weird decision to go away from Goose, knowing that you're, just by the fact that a guy gets up, gets hot, especially our bullpen, we don't have guys like McDuffie and Glauber to just go and throw 50 pitches every day. I mean, you already got him hot. Probably give him a little bit longer leash.
I mean, it just felt like we had swung the momentum back in the game, and then I don't know.
Yeah. So we got 6 out of Andrews. Then we got Goose.
I think this year has been an anomaly. I mean, has there been any time this year you're like, wow, that was a great decision and how we schematically, our strategy in any game this year? No.
And I don't know if it's strategy either. I mean, obviously we've been like, what in the hell are we doing a few times? But then at the same time, it's like, if it works, you look like a genius. It's like,
But you would think at some point we would hit, it's like we just haven't hit at all this year. So maybe this Tuesday at 9 a.m. things really turn around.
9 a.m. on Tuesday versus Duke. That's going to be a sight to behold.
It's going to be 6 a.m. your time.
Yes, I'm going to be in California, so it's going to be 6 a.m. It's going to be. I'll be watching, but gosh, I guess I can watch it before anybody gets in the office.
Not long before, though.
Not long before. They'll be in around 6:30. Before we talk about maybe before that. Before we talk about Duke, and we're not going to talk about Duke a whole lot. We've already played them 3 times, beat them at home 2 out of 3, and had a funny game 3 and lost 3-2. But there was a lot made out of Avent's emotions yesterday after the game. Do you guys think that because if we go get run ruled on Tuesday, we might not have another podcast, so we should talk about it now. Do you guys think that Coach Avent will be back in 2027?
I do not.
Wes?
I hope so. He's a freaking man. He's great. I mean, if you look at what he's accomplished with the little resources, and we talked about this for years, I mean, I think it, but I would say with one caveat, if Avent comes back, you can't be so hard headed in some ways. I mean, yeah, I think the whole fan base can recognize that Avent is, I mean, hell, he's been basically the only coach in my adult life. But I mean, the game's changed with NIL, and I know all of us have expressed frustration, like, in the preseason when we didn't even have a kickoff dinner, that we could raise money from NIL. I mean, other schools here that our company, we participated in NIL golf tournaments and things of that nature. I mean, yeah, I want Avent to come back, but I also want him to embrace that we're in 2027 and things are different than they were 15, 20 years ago. So I mean, I hope Avent's back. I hope he stays another 10 years. But whether that's him hiring a guy like Patrick Stacy that the basketball team has to help with analytics and fundraising or what, I don't know the answer to that, but things have changed, and you can't stay the same. So I do hope Avent's back. Do I think he'll be back? He can't go out like this. I mean, what makes us think every weekend this year in conference play, we've been saying, well, but next weekend we're going to get it together. I mean, yeah, I mean, I hope we play great against Duke, and hope we go into the next round and play great. But it's just not been a good year, and I really would. It would be unfortunate to see Avent exit with this being the year. And when you looked at the preseason with, you had two, I mean, generational type pitchers with Duden and Marone. We all thought this would go different, and some of our upperclassmen, those guys, injuries happen, and some of our upperclassmen at the plate really haven't played well, and it's just not how we thought the season would go. So I don't. I would rather, and of course, the season's not over. Maybe we make a run, maybe we go to Omaha, but I would rather. I hope Avent goes out on a high note, and not on one of the maybe the most disappointing years we've had in recent memory.
Yeah, because I think, when we talked earlier in the year that we thought this team could go to Omaha, like, obviously we're pack homers, but it really wasn't blowing smoke. I mean, it hard to watch Marone and Duden. Then, we were trying to decide who the third starter was going to be, but then you look at the depth with Consiglio and Andrews and Nance and some of the young guys. But, I mean, our staff, I feel like, I'm with you, Wesley. Well, first, I think Avent's going to retire. I guess I should say it's not my decision. It's certainly his. It's no one. I don't think it's anyone at NC State but his. If he does retire, I kind of feel like he will retire. But I want Avent to stay too, for the same reason you said. I just don't think. I mean, he had a roster this year that probably the only two guys that could get hurt on the team that could derail you got hurt. If you look at Mikey Ryan. We've plugged Christian Serrano in. He's been great. I think Lanfear didn't play yesterday because he was banged up. Vincent DiCarlo goes 2 for 4 and drives in 2. Frazeman slumped. You got Andrew Wiggins that you can run out there. At first base, you have McHugh. Offensively, we had a ton of depth. Now, I don't know if we ever found the right pieces to play. You had Sherman and Pfeiffer. We had so much depth from an offensive standpoint, but I mean, any team that loses 2 guys that are probably top 100 projected draft picks, that's hard. And yeah, I agree with you. I don't want it to be like this. I hope they get hot. I hope we get Marone back, and that we can play long enough for him to get back to 100%. Because I do think in a regional, if you could just somehow, I mean, I've heard some people about this team's going nowhere. Guys, I understand on paper. I'm not betting a whole lot of money that we're going to go shock the world if we get in a regional, but Evansville won a freaking regional. Like, if you could get through a regional and then the next week you have Ryan Barone and Anderson Nance to go 1-2, you can beat anybody in a super regional with those two guys. And, then it'll always be, well, what if you had Duden? Because can you imagine in a super regional with Nance, Marone, and Duden, and Consiglio, Andrews, Ragusa, who's come on, Garino. I mean, obviously we're not that team right now, but yeah, I guess I would like to see Elliott go on a high note, but I guess that remains to be seen. The other guys on this team that are draft eligible. Just want to talk about a few of those guys real quick. I guess if you go down our lineup yesterday, Rhett Johnson, hopefully we got that guy back. 397 as a freshman, pretty impressive. Luke Nixon probably getting drafted. Sherman Johnson is draft eligible, I believe. Chris McHugh, draft eligible. Head, draft eligible. Mikey Ryan is not draft eligible. Frazeman, draft eligible and aged out. He's a senior. Dalton Bargo is age out, draft eligible. Christian Serrano, freshman. Vincent DiCarlo, freshman. Drew Lanfear was another name that will graduate and we won't get back. Out of those names I just mentioned, which one of those fellas are any of those fellas? Talk about any of them. My wife yesterday when Luke made that diving play up the middle, she's like,
"Oh my gosh!"
She said, "I'm gonna miss that," and
yeah.
I think everybody's gonna miss that. God, we've got some guys on this team. I was just telling her I really, really love the team. It's not, we haven't got to where we want to get yet. Obviously, a little bit of time still to play for, but battling some injuries. Just your thoughts on that, on the roster construction and the guys that have come through the program in the last couple of years that we won't get to see play at the Doak anymore.
Well, you mentioned all those guys. I'm gonna miss three other guys: Ryan Marone, Jacob Duden, and Cooper Consiglio. On top of that,
I was going to get to the pitchers, but
yeah. I mean, I mean, he hasn't put up the numbers from an average standpoint, but I really like Ty Head anytime he comes to the plate. Sherman's certainly been good this year. Obviously, McHugh has, had his ups and downs. I mean, we obviously are big fans of his. But Ty Head's a name in the lineup that I'm really going to miss. Not only from the threat of him offensively, but just what he brings to you defensively. He's unbelievable center fielder. I know he hadn't committed an error this year, but my gosh, at the presence that he commands out there. So he's probably top of mind. I mentioned a couple weeks ago about Luke, and you said something about Luke too. I mean, obviously, I just feel like he's just the heart and soul of a wolf pack. What you think about when you think about a NC State. Yeah, exactly. NC State baseball player. And but I'm really gonna miss Ty Head for sure.
Wes.
Yeah, I mean, it's Luke for me. I just think it's exciting to see Luke's the progression that he's made from the time he was a freshman until now, where he's solid. I mean, he's been in the weight room. I think he's really established himself to be a major league guy. And 2 years ago, you're looking at him like he's just a little kid out there. In this age of college athletics, where kids are transferring back and forth, I think that's really cool to see a North Carolina guy. And of course, he's from Wilmington, but it's the same way with Head. I mean, I guess Head's only been there 2 years, right? But I mean, you just see the progression that Head's made. I think anytime a ball is hit the center field, it's exciting. I mean, you just know he's gonna make a play on the ball, and so we'll miss that for sure. I don't think McHugh's had nearly the year that we thought he would have, but he's been a solid player, at NC State for sure. But we got to keep those in-state guys at NC State, and Luke is, like you guys just said, he's an NC State baseball player in and out. So I hope we can continue to find not just Luke in terms of we want to continue to find guys like it too, but we want to keep the in-state talent in North Carolina, and Luke is the epitome of that.
Yeah, and talking about Luke, and so we had this conversation on the way home today. We went down to Eastern North Carolina, saw my mom, but talking about Luke. Luke is a kid that has 593 at bats in his NC State career, and he's hitting exactly 300 after yesterday's game. And to Wesley's point, a guy that came in, tremendously undersized, started 52 games as a freshman, started 161 games in 3 years. And I would say that if you look at those two that we keep talking about, Luke Nixon and Ty Head, honestly, like in my time as an NC State baseball fan, maybe the best second baseman we've ever had and the best center fielder we've ever had. And now that's just completely from a defensive standpoint. They both obviously bring some things offensively. But my son Carson said, "Dad, I don't know that I've ever seen a ball hit off the wall in center field with Ty Head playing center field." And I'm sure it's happened. I'm sure we could run the tape back and it's happened.
Not very much.
You can't hit it over that guy's head. Like, you got to hit it out of the park to hit it over his head.
Well, when we were going into the season, and again, get back to the beginning of the episode when we're saying that things really haven't played out like we thought they were, you would have never thought that Luke and Ty. I mean, we knew they were going to hold second base and the center field down defensively. But if you said they were also going to be your power guys, you're like, what are you talking about? There's several other guys that are going to be your power guys like dudes that are going to be dudes that haven't been. And, Luke and Head have shown up every day defensively and offensively. So I think that's if you ask what's gone wrong this season, every team's going to have injuries, and offensively, some of our guys that you thought that were going to put up, runs and key moments, runners in scoring position, home runs. When's the last time we had this few home runs as a baseball team? And then we're getting into a whole nother can of worms. And at times we act like
might have been last runners, year. I can't remember.
Hey, yeah, maybe it's been the last 2 years, but we get guys on first base that can run, and we act like this team's hit 115 home runs this year. Like, that's a whole nother can of worms there. But Luke and Ty Head have really, on both sides, defensively and offensively, have been consistent throughout the whole season.
And my son, and as a father, this really resonates with you. We were having that conversation on the way home. Now, my daughter's probably in the back reading a book. She don't even know who's graduating. But my son was talking about our trip to Puerto Rico this year, and he said, "Dad, you know who I'm going to really miss?" And I said, "Who's that?" He said, "Chris McHugh." He said, "He's just a really good dude." He said, "When we were at Puerto Rico at the pool," he said, "he just was so nice to me and hung out with me. I think they played horse." He said, "I'm going to really miss Chris McHugh." So, I mean, that just, to me as a father, that speaks to the kind of guys that Coach Avent brings into our program. But I said, man, if he's going to really miss Chris McHugh, I'm going to even miss him more now than I was going to. We can't even go on. I might get sad talking about the arms too. I mean, so we're not going to go into that too deep. But yeah, to Adam's point, we were talking about hitters first. But I mean, my goodness, the three amigos.
I was kind of trying to wrap things up a little bit.
Yeah, the three amigos, Dude and Consiglio and Marone. I mean, my gosh, what they've done in the NC State uniform is it's going to be remembered and missed. I mean, all three of those guys have some absolutely just huge moments. You think about Marone and Canarella last year. You think about Duden down in that Georgia Super Regional. Consiglio, I mean, this year it's basically like, here it goes. I mean, how much fell on that kid's shoulders when his two best buds went down in back-to-back weeks, and not to mention some of the performances he's had. Hell, there was a time his freshman year he looked like the best pitcher in the country for a couple of weeks. So, yeah, that's pretty somber. We got pretty somber tonight. Not to get too far off track.
Wes was talking about the home runs. Wes, we've hit 29 home runs in 30 ACC games.
Yeah, it's a small number.
That won't do it.
Won't do it.
Hey, it's just terrible, to be honest.
Giving up 48. and 30 ACC games.
All right, so go ahead, Wes. You had something to say.
Again, the game's changed in the last few years. So I hope Avent's back, but we have to make some changes this offseason into how we are managing roster situations. It's just not the same as it was 5 years ago. And we've seen that in every sport, whether it be football, basketball, baseball, softball, volleyball. Nebraska's volleyball team probably has a next NIL budget than NC State's baseball team. There has to be adjustments made.
Yeah, and not to harp on the NIL deal because, hell, quite honestly, what Hart and Avent and Bo Rob have done and Chrysler with talent identification, those guys are elite. Like, we have dudes on our roster. We're going to have 7 or 8 guys get drafted.
I think Cal's
My thing is to
T-Mobile might have just went out again.
Yeah, he's supposed to got that new.
Oh, please.
He was going to get the fiber optics.
Yeah, he's back on the dial-up.
I think he might have went with the cheap option. But I think what he's saying, and we recognize that what we've done from a talent identification is unique. But every year's different, right? I mean, you're gonna have to, and ultimately, you're gonna have to raise money. You're gonna have to go to your boosters, to your alumni, to whoever, and say, we want your money. And at times, from a RO and for me, from a booster, from an alum standpoint, if you're asking me to give my money to basketball or baseball, I would rather give my money to baseball because of the roster turnover in basketball right now. So I think that one of the most beloved people at all time of NC State is Elliott. And if Elliott goes and sees people and tells everyone what his vision is for the next, and again, I get Elliott's almost 70 years old, but he tells us what his
he's not
vision
going to do it.
is, like that is, we'll never have another ambassador to NC State baseball like Elliott Avent. He is NC State baseball. So whether if and I know Cal said that he thinks Elliott will retire, and if Elliott retires, I mean, what a season! Put a statue out in front of Doak of Elliott. But please, dear God, Elliott, consult for NC State and raise money for NIL because you're better than anybody with the Wolfpack Club. You're better than Boo Corrigan. You're better than anybody involved with NC State athletics at raising money if you just ask.
Perfect spot for me to cut back in. See, that's exactly where I was going before my poor internet got me. See, I can't give too much money to NIL because I'm still trying to get my dial-up over here repaired. But
T-Mobile is rough, man. I mean, eventually you can get.
But that was exactly what I was going to say. We do a hell of a job identifying talent, and Coach Avent is the one guy I feel like in our entire athletic department. If he would embrace it, he could go raise the money to grab a couple of other guys to really put us to the next level. But he ain't going to do it.
He ain't gonna do it. He ain't gonna do it. No, he ain't gonna do it. I mean, I fully believe that Coach Avent's done. I mean, I agree that I want him to come back, but I do think ending without the fanfare and everything, like if the season were to end now, is exactly what he wants. He doesn't want to make it about him. He wants the his team to have all the focus. He said after the game last night, this was as good a win as we've ever had here. And I just think that's his way of, signing off, in my opinion. I don't know. I agree. I hope that he comes back, but because I hope that he comes back because I do want him to have that. I know he doesn't want it, but I think like we as fans and as like the university deserve to recognize him.
And he brings so much to the table. I mean, he's got the facilities. I think that's what he wants. He cares about those facilities and upgrading those facilities more than he.
Yeah, and they named the locker room after him. He don't care nothing about that, though. I can promise you.
Yeah, but he's the most NC State guy you'll find. But who doesn't?
100%.
Who doesn't want one of these Chris consultant jobs? You work one day a week. Elliott can just travel one day a week, go see boosters. I mean, I don't know, whatever. And I get where Elliot's coming from, but it's a different world. I mean, when it comes to college athletics, and I get it. If
Maybe
he
we
doesn't
can
want
get
to play,
Boo another job, and we could give Avent his job.
Hey, Elliot's old boss did that. But all right, we got to wrap up. So what do we got to do to make a run, boys? I think it starts with number 20 getting healthy.
Hit the ball.
And we're going to have to hit it a lot until he does.
Hit the ball. I mean, you score runs.
You got to score runs if he does get healthy. He ain't coming back and throwing 9.
It's where. No, I mean, even when we're on and dude and healthy, you got to get runs.
Have we played how many games?
50.
53. Yeah. Have we had the same lineup for 2 games?
That's a great question. I don't know that we have.
Wes, you're gonna have to dump it in Grok and see how many different lineup combinations we've had in 53 games.
I got something in Grok for shoot. I might just.
But anyway, I do like the lineup yesterday.
Yeah, I like dropping McHugh to the 4-0 and Sherman up.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sherman's played really well. So you mentioned Grok, and I was just on here just looking at Grok. Hey, how many strikeouts before today? How many strikeouts did Paul Skeens have before he threw a walk?
Say that before today. How many strikeouts did he have before he threw his first walk?
Before he walked the next guy, he went
like
on a bender.
Yeah.
I would say.
How much was the bender? How many strikeouts before a walk for Skeens?
I would say 40.
What the hell? Did you just grok that?
It is 40.
Yeah, 40. 30.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy.
And your point too about the running. So we got to hit the ball and we got to run. Next year, guys, we got whoever the head coach is, we need to have like a campaign where Rhett Johnson, we're trying for him to steal 60 bags. I mean, Shohei Ohtani stole 50 bags in the major leagues. Rhett can steal 60 in that.
We just act like our 3 and 4 hole have hit. We act like Pennington and AMAC are back there, and that's what's the frustrating thing. They are not, and they're not coming back. They generate runs. I mean, that's this issue that we've had, and it's been super frustrating. And we don't know that Rhett's even going to be back next year. Hell, he might be in Louisiana. He might be in College Station. Like, we got to get this guy back. You don't know you're going to have a guy that can run like he can, and that's not the offset how good Luke can run. I mean, Luke's a great runner as well. Yeah, and
Sherman Johnson.
It's been totally frustrating to watch our. Again, we've not hit. Would you say we hit 29 home runs in ACC play?
Yeah, 29 in 30 games.
Yeah, I mean, is that not last in the ACC? Maybe Duke. Maybe Duke's below that. It can't be. There can't be many less than 29 home runs. But anyway, regardless, we're just not trying to generate runs in this. And you watch Carolina's approach to the plate. I mean, those guys, they generate runs. I mean, before you know it, they got people coming across the plate. Carolina, that was a weird thing about it. They don't have a superstar on their team. Carolina didn't have a superstar on their team offensively by any means.
They scored 17 runs. What's crazy is that I think
across the face with
they had 13 extra base hits the first 2 games.
What's crazy is we talk about how much we don't run. I think this is the second most steals in NC State history, and everybody sitting here and everybody watching feels like we should be running more. That's crazy.
Well, yeah, but in NC State history, we've hit home runs.
We've hit dongs.
That was the foundation of the team. Is they had guys that could hit home runs. It's just not these guys, and it's not. I mean, it doesn't mean they're bad guys or bad people. They just can't hit home runs.
Yeah, instead of a bloop and a blast, we got to play for a bloop, a steal, and another blast, another bloop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, Sherman's hitting the ball at a great clip last few weeks, but that's not the. McHugh's got 8 home runs, 2 of those against UNCW in Wilmington, and then there's just these guys aren't hitting home runs. It is. I mean, at some point you have to say this is who we are.
We got one guy with double-digit home runs. One.
McHugh's only got 1 in ACC play.
Yeah, yesterday. And the one guy that's got double-digit home runs, I don't even know if Head can hit it 100 off the exit velo. You know, what I mean, he's not. That's not his game, and it's just, I don't know, man. It's just it to me when gets on first base at the rate he is, and we're not trying to generate pressure on the defense, doesn't make a lot of sense, especially with Luke at the plate. I mean, of course, McHugh's not played nearly as well as everyone and himself had hoped to. It just doesn't make sense to me.
Well, I guess one of the things
I don't
that
know
I would
anything.
piggyback on that with Luke is, I mean, it hurts my soul when Luke bunts Rhett to second. Because to me, Luke is maybe he's one of our best hitters, obviously, not just statistically. He also,
Not
Yeah.
maybe. It's not
he's hitting
maybe. He
358.
is. Like maybe he should be hitting
We got our
third. You know, what I mean, that's the
fastest
other
guy
thing.
on first base, and we're going to bunt our fastest guy to second base and take the bat out of our second leading hitter's hands to do it.
Yeah,
I mean,
don't
maybe he
like it
bunts
either.
for a hit, maybe, because he can run. But why not just swipe the bag and let him hit? Like, I mean,
We won't even try. We won't even try. That's the hard thing.
How about this for a stat though? Talking
Yeah.
about Rhett, Christian Serrano, Andrew Wiggins, and Brandon Novy have more strikeouts in ACC play than Rhett Johnson.
Together.
has he struck out 8 times in the ACC?
No, individually. He struck out 8 times in ACC play.
In 30 starts.
Rhett has. Christian Serrano struck out 10, Wiggins has struck out 12, and Novy struck out 9.
I don't know if he struck out.
Oh man, that's unbelievable. 8 strikeouts and 116 at bats in ACC play.
But how many games is Rick? I mean, the first inning, Rick gets on first base, and you're like, here we go, and then nothing. You know, like that's the frustrating thing. Like just go ahead and hit him in the mouth in the first inning, and we
Still
just,
second and third.
What else could you ask
just go.
for? Yeah, what else could you ask for? Your leadoff guy gets on. You already know that our pitching is, we've got 2 of the best arms in the ACC out. Like
I ain't so sure that Rhett's 2
go.
times that he got caught stealing. He might have got picked off both times. I'm not 100% sure on that, but I think that might be right. I understand on left-handers, you got to be a little different. First, you go first movement, you're gambling a little bit. But I don't feel comfortable they're going to throw him out when he hits a high hopper to the pitcher. So I damn sure don't feel comfortable they're going to throw him out when I hear gong and the catcher's got to throw it 126 feet. Like, I mean, that dude can scoot, man.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. And you're talking about Lanphier and what an elite thrower he is, and the fact that we've had 29 bases stolen against us in ACC play and only stolen 37.
Yeah.
That's not enough when you got those, especially, well, and you count Mikey Ryan in there too.
Yeah.
You got 4 guys that can swipe a bag.
Well, if Rhett was actually a threat, to the opposing teams, because I mean they're watching scouting reports and they know we're not going to run. But you can't. It's not like when Luke gets to the plate, you're like, oh yeah, this guy's going to bunt at all. Like Luke could hit a home run, he could hit a triple, he could hit. I mean, he could hit it all parts of the field. We're just not. We don't. That's not part of our game. And again, that's a frustration. Again, to me personally, I think that Elliott needs to change again. One of the aspects is like we're not hitting 60 home runs in conference play. Like put pressure on the defense. Please put pressure on the defense, the pitcher, the catcher, the whole infield. But we don't do that at all. I mean, we all those fans watch the game, we know what's coming. We know Rhett's not running, and they know Rhett's not running.
And if you get thrown out, which we don't very much, I'm not going to be the one that's here fussing. I'm not going to be fussing. It's a hell of a lot more frustrating. Now I fuss when we pop up a bunt to move a runner over, or we don't get it down till 2 strikes on a strikeout. That's when I get frustrated. I'm never going to come on here and be like, man, we lost the other night because Rhett got thrown out too many times still in second. I'd be like, hell, I'd run him every single time he got to first base.
Every time.
It's just like what you said about not being mad about Consiglio throwing the first pitch strike, the other day. Can't be mad at that, Not gonna be mad at a guy for getting caught hustling.
Yep. So anyway, so we got a hit. Like to see us run a little more. We just had an all-out fuss fest, somber moments talking about guys we ain't gonna have next year.
So who's
pitching?
Yeah, I guess we should discuss that.
Who's pitching, Cal?
I think we'll start Garino. I really don't know, but I mean, if you look at, Consiglio and Andrews all went long. I think Andrews went 100 pitches.
And Hemrick threw. How many
we could
did
start
Hemrick
Hemrick, I guess.
after Nance?
Hemrick went.
Because that was Saturday.
Hemrick went 40 pitches. Nance threw 93 on Saturday. Consiglio threw 86. Andrews threw 100. Harris made 2 appearances this weekend. He threw 41 in 2 appearances.
So let's say we start Garino on Tuesday. Then who do you start on Wednesday?
Consiglio or Andrews. Andrews would be closer to full rest. He threw Thursday.
And then Nance on Thursday versus Georgia Tech.
I think if you make it to Georgia Tech and you got Anderson Nance, you got to run him out there. That's a lot of ifs along the way. But unless you got to throw him Wednesday night and the 9th to finish, or Wednesday morning, because those first 2 games will be at 9 a.m. Unless you got to throw him on Wednesday morning at 9 o'clock.
That's like an extra day of rest. Get the same day because you're throwing 16 hours early.
So, yeah, I think you're going to see it's going to take Garino, Ragusa, and Hemrick and Harris will probably be the plan to get through, to try to get through Tuesday and Wednesday, and then you kind of have all hands on deck. If you win those first 2 games, you kind of get your weekend guys back. When you have to go play the teams that got double buys. So, and luckily we're not. I guess Virginia was obviously fighting to get that spot too. I didn't want Clemson. A lot of people said we needed Clemson for the RPI, but they did.
I didn't want to. I didn't want to play Connect.
Yeah, and they didn't even throw their guys this weekend. Clemson never. They didn't throw anybody over 2 innings this weekend.
Yeah, Connect's going to go.
Connect
threw
1 inning this weekend.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I didn't want him.
So yeah, I kind of think we dodged a bullet not having to play Clemson. Personally, they're gonna. They already sold out for the weekend because they knew they had to win the ACC to get in the tournament, even though we're 42 in the RPI and they're 43. Not to go back to the league or the schedule that we've done all 12 episodes this year, but I wonder where we're at in RPI if we beat Princeton, Lafayette. If you get that win versus Princeton and Lafayette, you beat Winthrop in the midweek. You don't blow the game against Liberty in the midweek. There's 4 more wins right there, and I think
if we just take away those 3 quad 4 losses,
then we're probably not even.
Don't even get me started on that.
Then you're probably not even talking about any of this. So you're just like, will Marone be healthy by regionals? So that would be the only discussion we'd be having. That's where we're at. Anyway, I'm gonna tune in at 9 or 6 a.m. my time on Tuesday morning. Wesley, you gonna be watching, or are you on the road, Adam? I know Adam will have it on in the office. He probably won't hardly watch any of it, but he'll have it on.
I'm gonna have it on, but I'm gonna be busy.
I gotten to the point now I don't turn it on until I see y'all's text from Ken and y'all two about how the game's going. And then if I get some bad text at 9:15, then I just won't even turn it on.
When you get one that says, "What you think, Chad?" It's time to tune in, right?
Chad. I'm Chad from the Peckham.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, I'll watch it. I'll have it on somehow in the office. I'll be in the office Tuesday.
Y'all are a Wolfpack Homer office, so you should have it on.
We'll have it on the big screen in the conference room. It'd be on the big screen.
All right, boys, I'm playing the music. I have no idea how this one's going to turn out. We were all over the place, but thanks for joining us. Go Pack.
Just post it as it
Post it
is.
just like it is. I bet that'd be good.